The drama in the world of fame is reaching a boiling point as Brooklyn Beckham breaks his silence on the fallout with his famous parents. After years of public speculation, Brooklyn released an explosive statement claiming that the pressure of his upbringing left him with overwhelming anxiety that has only vanished since he stepped away from the Beckham family. This massive rift has captivated everyone, but now we have a brand new perspective that you definitely did not see coming.
Tired of dropping your phone or struggling to prop it up? Meet the Pop Sockets phone grip with expanding kickstand in black, your new must-have accessory. Don't miss out. Grab yours today. Click the link in the video description to shop now on Amazon.
Adding fuel to the fire, Brooklyn's ex-girlfriend Hana Cross has stepped into the spotlight to share her own side of the story. The model, who dated Brooklyn years ago, says that his public statement actually mirrored many of her own experiences during her time with the family. She is pulling back the curtain on the anxiety and warning signs she faced while living in that world, making this situation feel even more intense than we first thought. As the tension between the Peltz Beckhams and the rest of the family continues to make headlines, we are looking back at the long history of the Beckham family drama. From past rumors and alleged feuds over wedding gowns to the mysterious absence of Brooklyn and Nicola at major birthday celebrations, the cracks in their public image have been forming for a long time. It is a complex web of loyalty and conflict that seems to have finally reached a breaking point. Finally, we are getting a rare reaction from the parents themselves as Victoria Beckham officially addresses the fallout for the first time. While she and David Beckham continue to navigate the public eye, their measured responses suggest they are trying to protect their children despite the massive divide. Is there any path to reconciliation left? Or is this family permanently changed? Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you never miss an update on this unfolding story. Ever wonder what happens when the glitz and glamour of one of the world's most famous families starts to crack? The Beckham dynasty has always felt like a fairy tale, but Brooklyn Beckham's explosive decision to walk away has pulled back the curtain on a much darker reality. It wasn't just a rumor. Back in January, Brooklyn dropped a bombshell on social media, declaring that he was done playing the part. He spoke of years of anxiety, performative family events, and a desperate need to reclaim his autonomy. It was a raw, unfiltered plea for space that shook the public to its core. But just when we thought the dust had settled, a blast from the past has reignited the conversation. Hana Cross, the model who dated Brooklyn back in 2018, just broke her silence, and her perspective adds a layer of depth that's impossible to ignore. In a recent interview, Cross admitted that seeing Brooklyn speak out was both shocking and strangely validating. She didn't hold back, noting that his public statement perfectly captured her own turbulent experience within the Beckham inner circle. She described the same crushing anxiety and the sense of being trapped in a brand rather than a family. It's a sobering reminder that behind the high-fashion spreads and curated Instagram feeds, real people are struggling with the immense pressure of living under a global microscope. Cross confessed that looking back, she sees all the red flags she was too young to recognize at the time. She went from life on a farm to being thrown into the middle of one of the most scrutinized relationships on the planet. It's heavy stuff, and it really forces us to question the price of fame and whether the image we see on screen is ever worth the cost to one's mental health. Neither side has offered a rebuttal yet, but the silence speaks volumes. Do you think Brooklyn was right to go public, or are family matters best left behind closed doors? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your take on this. If you found this update interesting, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the stories making headlines. After all, when the cameras stop rolling, the real story is usually just beginning. Think of the Beckhams, and you probably picture the ultimate power couple: fashion, football, and a seemingly perfect brood. But behind the glossy magazine covers and red carpet smiles, the reality is far more complicated. Today, we're peeling back the curtain on the drama that has defined one of the world's most famous families for decades. It all started back in 1999. David and Victoria were the ultimate it couple, and they quickly built a dynasty with their 4 children: Brooklyn, Romeo, Cruz, and Harper. But even in the early 2000s, the cracks began to show. In 2004, the marriage faced a massive scandal when allegations of an affair between David and his former assistant, Rebecca Luz, hit the tabloids. In his recent Netflix documentary, both David and Victoria opened up about that circus, admitting it was the darkest, most painful time in their lives. They stayed together, choosing to fight for their family, but the emotional scars were deep. Fast forward to 2022, and the drama shifted from the parents to the next generation. When Brooklyn married actress Nicola Peltz, rumors of a feud between the bride and her mother-in-law, Victoria, dominated the headlines, mostly centered around, of all things, a wedding dress. While Nicola has publicly denied these claims, the tension clearly didn't just evaporate. By 2025, things had turned frosty between the brothers. After Brooklyn and Nicola were notably absent from David's 50th birthday celebrations, the public saw cracks in the brotherhood. Between cryptic social media jabs about career choices and reports that the family had simply blocked one another, the once tight-knit group seemed to be fracturing for good. Things took a truly shocking turn in early 2026. Brooklyn took to Instagram to issue a scathing statement, claiming his parents had tried to sabotage his relationship and that he had been under their control for most of his life. He even cited an uncomfortable moment during his own wedding as a breaking point. It was a raw, public dismantling of the perfect Beckham brand. Shortly after, Victoria finally broke her silence, telling the Wall Street Journal that they've always just tried to love and protect their children. It's the classic battle between parental expectations and a child's need for independence, but played out on the world's biggest stage. It's a stark reminder that no amount of fame or fortune can insulate a family from the pains of growing apart. Do you think there's any chance for reconciliation, or is the Beckham dynasty forever changed? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more deep dives into the stories everyone is talking about. After all, the hardest part of being in the spotlight is knowing that, eventually, someone is going to turn it on you. Think the Beckham brand is all about perfect photos and high-fashion galas? Think again. The cracks in the armor have turned into a full-blown canyon, and for the first time, the family is addressing the elephant in the room. We are talking about Brooklyn Beckham, who recently shattered that polished image with a bombshell social media post that left the internet reeling. He didn't just mention a little family friction. He went public, claiming that his parents prioritize PR and endorsements over their own children. He even went as far as to say he was finally free from the overwhelming anxiety that defined his childhood. It is a staggering accusation from a man who has lived his entire life in the shadow of one of the world's most famous surnames. When you hear a son talk about standing up for himself against a controlling narrative, you have to wonder what really goes on behind the scenes of those red carpet smiles. Victoria Beckham finally broke her silence in a Wall Street Journal interview, but it wasn't the fiery rebuttal some might have expected. Instead, she kept it diplomatic, emphasizing how much they love their children and framing their 3-decade stint in the public eye as a constant effort to protect them. Meanwhile, David Beckham took a more veiled approach, commenting on the importance of letting children learn from their mistakes. It is a classic, he said, she said, playing out on the global stage, and honestly, it is as uncomfortable as it is fascinating. Is this the end of the Beckham dynasty as we know it, or just a messy chapter in a very long book? I want to know what you think. Are we seeing a necessary break for personal growth, or a family tragedy caught in the lens of public scrutiny? Drop a comment below, hit that subscribe button, and join us as we keep tracking this evolving story. Because in the world of fame, the truth is rarely as simple as a press release. We all think of the Beckhams as the ultimate, untouchable brand, but even the most polished families have cracks. The facade of the perfect British dynasty has officially splintered, and the drama is playing out on the most public stage imaginable. It all blew up in January 2026 when Brooklyn Beckham, the eldest son, dropped a digital bombshell that shook the tabloid world. In a candid Instagram post, Brooklyn finally broke his silence, claiming he spent years being controlled and manipulated by his parents and their PR team. He didn't mince words, even accusing them of sabotaging his marriage to Nicola Peltz Beckham. He called it a stand for his own mental health, explicitly stating he had no desire to reconcile. It is a jarring pivot from the narrative we've seen for decades. So, how do you handle a son going rogue when your entire life is under a microscope? David and Victoria have taken very different, yet equally calculated, approaches. David's strategy: silence followed by subtle deflection. When caught on camera at the World Economic Forum, he famously kept walking. Later, on CNBC, he mused about the dangers of social media and the necessity of letting children make mistakes, a masterclass in parental distancing. Victoria, meanwhile, has leaned into the persona of the protective matriarch. In interviews with the Wall Street Journal and on the Today Show, she steered clear of naming Brooklyn entirely, focusing instead on the weight of being in the public eye for 30 years and the challenge of raising adult children. She insists that for her and David, family support remains their anchor, choosing to speak in broad, vague terms about love and endurance. It is a classic clash between the modern need for radical transparency and the old-school instinct to keep the dirty laundry behind closed doors. But here is the real question. When your private life is a public commodity, is there any room left for actual healing? We want to hear what you think about this falling out. Do you side with Brooklyn's need for independence, or do you think the parents are just trying to keep the ship afloat? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more deep dives into celebrity culture. And remember, sometimes the most famous faces are the ones guarding the most painful secrets.